Hello and welcome back to the channel. Second video of the week, which is good going for me. Today I've got something very different. We'll get more into that in a bit. We've only got about 4 hours to make it happen. So I'm currently walking around the venue with some bait. I'm going to bait up a couple of likely looking spots to give us a couple of opportunities to get some carp feeding. Then if we need to move, that's always available. So let me go around, have a little bait up, and then we'll have a little chat about what's going on in this video. So here we are. I've found a couple of likely looking spots, had a bait up in 3 different margins, walked along, and then just worked out if they've started feeding on them spots or not. And I believe there's 1 or 2 just down here, so it's a good start. Today's challenge, as you can see by the title, is the Sports Direct Fishing Challenge, which I don't know how it's going to go. What we've gone and got is a carp fishing set. We've got a rod and reel for $34.99. Obviously, it's not going to be that great. But the point behind the video is, it isn't just to see if I can catch on it. It's also, for those beginners coming in, carp fishing can be expensive. So I'd like to showcase it and see if it is any good for beginners. So in here, you get your own tackle box as well, which I believe's got hooks and floats. I've also gone and brought a packet of hooks for £1.49. They don't look the best, but I will be tying the rigs out of them. I'm going to be using absolutely everything, even the bite alarms or Sports Direct, the JRC one, they sell them online. And then we've got a little flimsy catapult looking thing. I don't know how great it's going to be. Not really going to need to use it unless we push out further, but that's that for now. I'm going to open it all up, set it up. I'm going to have to tie some rigs out of the main line because I'm going from as a complete beginner, and then we'll see how it goes from there. Right, so I've just opened the rod set and it comes in 3 pieces. Do you know what? It doesn't look that bad for the price. It does feel cheaper, it's gonna be. You ain't getting no carbon fibre. It is basically just a load of plastic. It's got a nice handle on it though. Can't mock it, but can it land a big carp? Who knows? We'll find out later on into the video. A reel, it is plastic. None of that's metal. It doesn't sound too bad on the drag. I don't know how that's going to plan out, but it's a nice small reel. I don't know what line is on it. I need to read into it. I'm assuming it's probably going to be about £10, which is why I've chose a smaller venue with smaller carp, and also a venue that's got enough carp for us to have a decent chance of landing 1 or 2. But yeah, it doesn't feel too bad, but it is cheap. You can feel it. It's nothing like top of the range carp gear, but can't mock it for $34.99. And then it comes with a little tackle box, and in there you've got a small lead, which we're going to have to use, some bait stops, and a few other little bits, plastic baits, which are banned on the venue, so I will not be able to use. And then the hooks, let me open them, get back to you, and we'll see what they're like. So the hooks, I think this is a size 8. It's like a wide gape style. It does feel cheap, looks shit. Very, very blunt. I'm gonna have to try and give it a sharpen up. I'll tell you what, I don't even know if that's gonna hook a carp, to be honest with you. They are barbed as well, so I'm gonna have to crush the barb down and file it down to complete barbless, because that is another rule on the venue. So let's get the rod set up, rigs tied up. I'm gonna go for a little hair rig on this. I have to try and give it a sharpen. It's no good at all. So if you're thinking about getting into fishing and buying your stuff for Sports Direct, just invest into a better packet of hooks from Corda, Nash, or whatever, a bigger tackle company. So I'm going to set the rod up the reel, and then I'll get back to you with the rig once I've tied that up. So for the lead arrangement, there isn't no tubing, which is a rule on here, so I'm going to have to pull it on. The lead is probably about 1 ounce, so that's going to go on, and it's going to fish it on a free run-in setup, on a run rig. I'm going to have to use that out of my tackle box just because it doesn't supply any lead clips whatsoever. There is a swivel though, on the other hand. When it comes down to the bait stops, they're not actually plastic, they're rubber. They're like very horrible. And when you try and break them off, it just breaks the bait stop in half. So give them a go though. I have cheated a little bit though, because them hooks, you cannot sharpen them. They're blunt out of the packet. They're horrible. It's not going to land a carp. So I have cheated a little bit there, and I have used just a normal hook. But everything else is going to be Sports Direct. The line, everything I've tied the rig out of, that Sports Direct line. I still need to find out the test curve on that in a second, but let me get this baited up, rigged up, and then we can get a rod out. And there we are. I'm going to go for a little snowman for the baiting approach. Obviously we can't use the Sports Direct baits because plastic is banned on the venue, but we got the line, the reel, the rod, the alarm, basically ready to go. So let's get it out in the water and see what happens, I guess. So it took a bit longer to get set up than I thought. It's now 1:45, so we've got about 3 hours of fishing, but that's more than enough time to see if we can land a carp on it. A little backstory to the fishing equipment. I used to work in Sports Direct when I left school, and we always used to get returns on it. Everyone that brought one, they'd come back and bring it back. And I can now sort of see why. At first I thought the reel was alright, but once it's set up and you're going through the drag, it's no good. It's no good. You're better off going to find something like a Sonic, half decent brand, still at a decent price range. But the whole point behind it is it's the challenge to land stuff on the Sports Direct fishing gear. So now we'll sit back and wait to see what happens. So it has been just over an hour. We've not even had a knock, and I've seen a couple of shows on the other side. So I think I'm going to make a move around there just to be on top of the fish and give us a better chance of landing one for the video. As ideally it'd be nice to land one for the video just to see how everything holds up. So just going to reel in, make a move around there, show you the swim. There's a nice long margin over there, sun's shining on it. It's a cold winter's day, 3 degrees, so a bit of warmer water maybe down that end. That's where they're probably going to push. So here we are down in the next swim. We've got the sun shining in the margin, we've got some flowing water on the other side of the tree, so just going to chuck it straight in front of that tree, handful of bait, and then we'll go from there. There we are, we're into our first fish. Didn't take long, 10 minutes. See how it holds up. A little one. Lead's done its job though. Did mock that. Don't normally use light lead. Oh, absolutely screaming take. This is a take on camera. Nice little scaly one. Only a baby. There we go. First carp on the Sports Direct setup. Before we get the fish out, I wanted to talk a bit about fish care to anyone coming into angling, or even if you're into it and you know what you're up to. So what I've done is, you saw I got the rod back out, unhooked the fish in the net, just purely because I don't want to take the fish out of the water with the hook in its mouth. If I can't unhook it in the net, either bite the line off or use a quick chain swivel and clip the rig off just for the fish safety. So let's get her out and have a look at her on the mat. So here we are, here's the one that we managed to land. It's only a couple of pound, but she's pretty, she's a nice fish. And so far the setup's not that bad. So if you're getting into fishing and you just want to catch a couple of carp, little ones just like this one, it's a perfect setup. But our challenge is to catch something a little bit bigger than this. But happy days, first fish. Off to the start, we know where they are, we know where they're feeding, the tactics are working, so press repeat and hopefully a couple more shows their face. So I've also decided, with the setup I've got, I'm not going to use it again, and it will come in handy to some people. So if there's anyone coming into angling, or they've got maybe a one rod setup and they could do with the reel and the rod and the alarm, comment down below. I'm going to pick someone at random and I'll ship that to you for completely free of charge, just to help out people that do want to get into fishing or need it. But please make sure you need it. If you don't need it, don't go for it. There is people that would like the setup and could do with it. So comment down below, tell me why you think you need it, tell me a bit about yourself and your angling, and one lucky winner can have it shipped to them for free. So let's talk a little bit more about the reel. So in general, a carp reel will have anywhere from 5 to 12 ball bearings in it, and the amount of ball bearings that are in there goes on how smooth the reel is and basically its playing action. So Top of the range, you're talking like Daiwa, Beziers, any really decent carp reel will have 12, and that makes it very smooth. This reel only has 1, so even the cheap carp runs, it even says online that they will only have 5. So bearing in mind that it's only got 1, you could imagine how rough it really is. But what can you expect for the price? It's not that bad. It lands carp, it does its job. The rod, the play in action, the rod isn't too bad. I can't really mock it, to be honest. It's a great first setup for anyone coming into it that wants to go down to a small venue and try and have a small carp out. So that is challenge accepted and challenge complete so far. Let's give it another hour or so, see if we can get another one out. But there we are. So while we're on the topic of the challenge, I am taking challenges from viewers or any video ideas, whether that's a venue, certain locations, wherever, or with a special guest. Comment down below your ideas for the videos. I've got a couple of videos planned for the next month or so, but after I've got through them, I'll go through the comments on the ideas and pick out a couple of the best ones, get down to the lakes and do whatever the suggested idea is. So I wanted to try and find a way to incorporate the catapult into the video. So I've seen a couple of fish showing out into the middle of the pond. So what I've done is I've chucked a single over there, and now I'm just going to try and catapult a couple of boilies over. It is cable tied together for the elastics, which I don't know how great it's going to be, but we can only give it a go. So let's just do a boilie at a time, because the pouch isn't too big on it. It's very twisted. There we go. Okay, that's got some distance on it. That went a lot further than the rod, and that was only a little pull. So if I go a bit lighter, do you know what? I'm not even gonna lie, that is so effortless. It's probably a lot better than any of the leading catapults on the market. Yes, it looks terrible, but to be fair, very easy to use, and it goes miles. So like, if I give it a good old going, there we go. Nearly 3/4 of the way across the pond just from that. So that isn't bad at all. I'm not going to mock that. Let's get a couple of baits where the rig is. A bit further than that. The only thing with it is it's quite small and there's not a lot to grip onto. But other than that, can't fault it. It's not a bad catapult for the price. I believe it was like $2.99 or something like that. I'll double check that in a minute. Yeah, once you've had a couple of goes on it, it's pretty easy to know sort of how much power to use for it to hit the spot. So to be fair, I'm not going to mock that one. That's not too bad. So it has gone pretty quiet in this swim. Not even a knock from that middle section, even though that I've cast into a couple of carp. So as you remember at the start of the video, we baited a couple of spots. So now I'm going to go check all 3 spots to see if there's any carp feeding there or any signs, and hopefully get a rod in on there and get one last bite. So as you can see there, I've just been up on the little stump on the tree. Point behind that is it's getting the high ground, and if you can look down on the lake, you can locate the fish better, find out their feeding patterns and seeing what they're doing. Gone up there and I've seen 3 fish just in a small little bay here. So as you saw, straight away jump down, get a rod on them as quickly as possible before they move out, try and nick one that way. The only thing now is it's tempting them to take that hook bait. I'm going to chuck a couple of boilies down there, 3 or 4, literally just a tiny trap, and just see in this last half an hour if we can bag one that way. So unfortunately the last run didn't happen, but we've managed to fish on the Sports Direct setup. As I said before, challenge complete. Just about to reel it in. There's a chance that it could go any second, but I'm not going to long it out. I'm going to pack down everything else now and then shoot, because it's going to be getting dark soon. It's coming up to 4:30 now, so I've pushed it a bit longer for the video as well. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.